Hello, everyone. Welcome to the next episode of Chai Time with Garry. So, today we're going to mix it up a bit. I'm going to be asking Chai the questions, and Chai, you're going to answer all the sub
Hmm.
questions. How are you doing
Well,
anyway?
I'm a bit hungover to be honest. I felt bad about what's happening with United, so decided to have a few gins last night, but that's good. Recovering with a glass of
Hey,
water.
I'm having green tea. I'm having green tea in my favorite mug.
Hmm. Signs of
Signs of
aging, man.
age, man. Signs of age. We're getting there.
Yeah.
But look, Chai, so much to
Yeah,
talk
me.
about. So much to talk
I
about.
think so too.
Man United, Tottenham. We've got to talk about
Hmm.
that. But before that, we've really got to talk about Man United, we Tottenham, Ole's press. Good.
Absolutely.
What that was, you know what? I've got to applaud. I've got to applaud the press, right? They finally asked Ole some direct questions. I've been dying for this moment. You know,
Yeah.
the questions were so direct. Like, it was all about transfers. 90% of the questions were about transfers. There were bits about, how Manu were going to handle Harry Kane. There was some questions around how Gareth Southgate
Josie was
did
going to
not,
play
yeah,
mind games with, yeah.
Jose mind games, and then Gareth Southgate deciding to drop Greenwood.
Yeah.
But all of that are really secondary. We really got to talk about the presser, right?
I, yeah, of course. Look, sometimes they had to address the elephant in the room with regards to transfers, I guess. So that's why, I mean, it's 3 days for the transfer window, right? To close, at least our time.
Yeah, I
Three
mean,
days.
the thing is, I did not expect them to be so direct with the questions, right? It was like
Yes.
basically like Ole was against the wall, and there was a
Yeah.
bunch of it was basically a journalist, kind of holding him down, and they were doing unsavory things to him. But anyway, uh, but it was basically he had his pants pulled down in front of the press. Like he had to answer some really really hard questions, and I think
Right.
he did. Despite the circumstances, I think he answered the questions really really well.
Yeah.
If it was Jose there, I think Jose would have thrown Woodward under the bus. Like
So,
he had some really hard questions, and I'll just read out the questions to you,
yeah.
right, and get your thoughts on it. So he was asked a question about how a lot of the major clubs, including Everton, have all made sizable signings, but
Yeah.
United, the stature of United, the club the size of
Yeah.
United, has really failed to make
Mm,
impact in the transfer window. We've signed Donny van der Beek, but that
yes.
was about it, right? How was that acceptable for a club of United size? I mean, that was pretty much and Ole, to his credit, seemed to kind of agree with the reporter. Like it was really
Yeah.
like you could read through the facial expression and the tone of his voice, and he basically said, "Look, the transfer window is open. They're going to be
Yeah.
working on transfer still, but he kind of gave the same answer for all the questions. He said, "Look, when he knows about something, he'll let everyone else know about it."
Yeah.
And
Well, that's typically off expected. I mean, what can you do? Ole, as a human being, he's a Manchester United fan, right? Then he's the manager of the club, right? That's the pecking order in which he's, oh, well, a player, a fan, and then the manager, right? So he always, I think, has the best interests of the club in his head anyway. The problem is now because he's so emotionally attached to United, and now he has to manage the footballing side of things as well as the transfers because there's nobody else to help him out with it, like a director of football, let's say. He has to make all of these decisions and to keep his emotions away, right? He has to be cutthroat in making the right decisions for the club. It becomes very difficult. So, what has happened with his lack of support is the fact that because Glazers do not give a shit, because Ed Woodward's a banker, now both of them have left him hanging dry, right? Literally. And I kind of feel sorry for the guy. What else is he about to say? Can he say, look, yes, I've not been supported? He can't come out and say it. He's not going to come and throw the club under the bus because he has so much of emotional attachment to it, right?
look, Ole, Ole's been a
Honest as
club
well, right?
legend. Ole's been a
Yeah,
club
and
legend, right?
Of course, and he's not going to get a better job than Manchester United at the
I don't.
current season.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
he's not going to jeopardize that as well. So
But
I can see
he loves the club more than he loves himself. Like he's willing to sacrifice, like
his dignity,
his
I guess, for
yeah,
the
his
club, right?
dignity. Yeah, exactly
Yeah.
right. He's willing to sacrifice dignity for the betterment of
Mm.
the club, and that goes. It's really hard to find that quality
Yes.
in managers these days. Like because the game has changed. It's all about
Yep.
managers wanting to prove themselves well. But I think Ole is a true and true Man United fan at first
A fan, right?
and a manager, right? But I think
Yeah.
what's very very surprising is that he kind of skewed some of the questions pretty well, and I don't think he
Yeah.
answered some of them really well. Like it, there was a reporter who was asking him about whether that's acceptable. He said like it's not up to me to decide whether the transfer
Yeah,
is
exactly.
acceptable. Like like what is he going to say? Like yeah, not acceptable. Yeah, Woodward needs to support me, but
let's let's talk about this in a little bit because we've everyone around United is sounding like a broken record, right? And the biggest war cry, minus the bloody Tottenham game that's coming across, is the fact that we haven't made any transfers. Neither has Real Madrid significantly, neither has Barcelona at this point in time, right? So the three most valuable clubs haven't done anything in the transfer window. Let's just take that in for a second. Not massively anyway. So the clubs around us, yes, they're making some movements. Yeah, I agree. Everton's bought a few people in, and uh, City, although they did strengthen a little bit, but not as much. Liverpool bought in a couple of
no,
players.
the thing that
I
really
think
frustrates me.
Chelsea buying so many people is what is causing a lot more antsy at United. Now, I understand that is seeping into the footballing side of things as well. They should be somehow detached because Manchester United is Manchester United. There's so much of negativity that flows in lack of transfers. Oh, they're going to be shit. Why? We weren't at the fag in the last season. We were doing okay, right? Yes, people were overrun and stuff like that. But footballing wise, we were doing okay. At least we had a system in place that was looking to develop into a particular direction, right? Unlike Van Gaal and Mourinho, where it was just like, okay, you know what? We don't know how we're playing. We're going to be technically sound. By the time the technically sound was built, he was fired. I'm talking about Van Gaal, right? But at least we have some sort of a culture within the club developing. And as long as the transfer negativity doesn't affect things on the field, I'm okay with it. Would I like players in the club? Yes, of course I'd like players in the club. But we have to be a little more diligent in understanding that these two are two separate things. We're here for the football, and we shouldn't let what's happening in the background with bankers affect what's happening on the field. It's very difficult, but it's something for our fans also to keep that in mind, saying, look, transfers happen, football's going to improve, right? There's no questions about it. The point is, if that's not happening, that doesn't mean we still can't beat teams. Leicester won it with no squad, dude. Leicester won the league with absolutely no one. So when we think about that, they played as a team. Playing as a team is more important. Now, there are two ways to improve a squad: bring in new players or make the players within the squad do better. Maybe he's focusing on the second part. Who knows? And I hope he achieves it, right?
Yeah, the look
Bit of a rant.
on transfers. I think the I guess the frustration I have as a fan is that Man United have been linked with
Yeah.
so many players, and for whatever reason, apart from one day when the big, it takes us ages just to sign the player.
Correct.
When we get linked to a player, it's a case of us being linked to him for 7-8 weeks, and then the transfer we'll get an agreement with the player, and then we'll just sit on it and not work on the agreement with the club. Right? It's been the same scenario again and again and again, and I think the issue is that when we look at other clubs around us, right? Even the likes of City is another high-profile club. Even Liverpool, right?
Yeah,
they are all able to try to convert the point where you get linked to a player to the transfer happening within a span of 3 or 4 days. Why is it that United fail to get to do that when other clubs are able to do it? That's what I can't understand.
I have at least one piece of the puzzle is the price, right? Now let me ask you this. This is for Australian specific viewers only, right? So we will try to make the connection there. If I were to go buy an Asahi in a bar in Adelaide, like let's say it's about $10, right? The same beer, if I go buy it in Sydney, it's $14, right? The $4 is a premium of being in Sydney and the associated costs of it, right? Unfortunately for us, even buying a beer is like buying a player is like buying a beer in Sydney. There is a premium that United has to pay because we have inflated costs of all our wages of all the players. We've always tended to overpay since Ferguson left, and it's become state of play right now, right? So a player who's valued at 30 million, let's say, will sell to United at 40 million, right? The difference of that 10 million valuation is something that Glazers can't understand, and rightly so. It's their money, right? Why, if this player were bought by Everton, that the transfer would be done at 30 million, but because it's United, we got to pay that 10 million extra. So that's the problem. I don't think they can logically pay that 10 million without, fighting a little bit or negotiating a little bit, right? Which is why a transfer takes so long, unless and until the other side of the fence is someone who looks at a player's best interest, and there are very few people who genuinely do so. The best example is Van der Beek, right? Van der Sar knows, okay, this club will be good for this guy to develop. It's best interest of the player. It's best for Manchester United, best for Ajax to sell him. And there you go. Because everything was done
it was done very quickly because, I mean, Ole's connection to Van der Sar,
correct.
It happened like that, right?
Yeah. So it becomes very difficult, right, to justify why Sancho isn't happening. I don't understand it. It's because the price is higher than what Sancho would have sold to Barca maybe. And plus, Manchester United is not as attractive anymore. Yeah. The minute we realize this, that we're not Manchester United of 2012, we're Manchester United of 2020. Yeah. We are the new Everton. Let's think about that for a second. I'm not saying we are Everton, but what I'm trying to say is we are challenging for the top four, and that's not a aspiration that incoming players will want to be a part of, unless they want to roll up their sleeves and better the club. And there are very few players out there.
Yeah, look, I agree. We're not the first one we were once. It's come down to performance over the years. We've not performed to the level we should have. The signings have been poor the last few years since Ferguson's left. I'd argue even Ferguson's time, he was, the sink was already the ship was ready sinking, and
absolutely,
he kind of patched up the holes here and there, and he somehow got us the last title. But ever since then, we've done nothing to really change the current state of the club. We failed transfer window after transfer window after transfer window, and yet we seem to be really hesitant to get a director of football, which is what all top 5 clubs in Europe have at the moment. Is that a question? Is the reason for not getting a director of football because Woodward's really obsessed with having total control over the club, or does it go beyond that? Does Manchester United feel that they've got a good scouting network out there, and they think they're still as attractive as they once were? I guess the question. What do you think is the problem with us not getting a director of football?
I think it is a bit of both. You've addressed both those points. One, I think it's for the managers that were previous. Our ex-managers, if you may want to call them, Jose and stuff like that, didn't want a director of football because he wanted control in the amount of transfers that he wanted to make. So possibly it was in part left with the manager in play. So like Jose mentioned, and the other part, I think it's relinquishing control for Ed Woodward, right? Ed Woodward, the minute he relinquishes control or doesn't have that much of control, will possibly be the weakest link at United. So it's a position that will be replaced very easily.
Can't United go with a new structure where Ed Woodward's involved with branding, the commercial side of things, and then they get someone else to work closely with him?
Yeah,
the footballing side of things.
Look, let's put this in the grander perspective, right? And I sound like a broken record because I keep telling this to every person about United, right? Do we believe as fans we should win? Do Glazers really care if we win? That's the question I want to know, right? Glazers have seen their investments in players flop season after season after season after season, right? Think about the first season under Van Gaal. We went and signed like about 6 players, right? 6 or 5 players, I can't remember.
Season. Oh, you're talking about Van Gaal?
Yeah, Van Gaal. Van Gaal first season, because that was really the entire season. Before that, Moyes came in for half a season, then nothing really happened and stuff like that, right? No, he bought Mata and Fellaini, I think, and that's about it, right? So when you think about Van Gaal, he had like a control of his transfer. So he went and bought Di Marias, the Herreras, the I think Falcao's and stuff like that. He splurged money, at least splurged in relative sense, and the investments didn't show any returns apart from shirts being sold, right? In terms of results, there was right? And then we went through Jose, who brought on his players.
Apparently, just on Van Gaal, apparently he wanted to sign Neymar, and he didn't get to sign Neymar because Woodward told him the club were not going to do it. So apparently, the likes of Schneiderlin, Blin, and who's the other one they signed?
Herrera.
Di Maria, Falcao. Di Maria and Falcao was first choice, but Blin and Schneiderlin not his first choice players. And then
Schweinsteiger also came.
As well. So the 3 out of 5 signings were the first, his first choice signings, I guess.
Yeah.
But I think Van Gaal, I think he just lacked the player management. But go on to your next point.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. So I think what I've been trying to tell you is exactly this, right? So when Ed Woodward and above, right? So I mean, people who really put the money in the club see their financial investments go kaput every single time. Then they're going to question you about saying, do you really need the guy? Why will I give you money? Because your last 4 transfers have failed so miserably. So will they continue to pump in money? No, I don't think so. They're just happy to take whatever comes out of it, right? And it works like a private equity fund. You just buy the club on debt. You operate it with the money you have, and then you keep taking anything over the operating cost that you have for the club. So they're happy with their investment, man. It's slowly paying off the debt.
Yeah, and I feel like we go through these cycles when we don't get top 4, and then all of a sudden we start spending money.
Correct, because sponsorship's going to be pulled off, right? If you don't make it into Europe consecutively X number of years, so pull the sponsorship. So
the question needs to be what, like you said, what are the true ambitions of this club? Are we aiming to be number 1, number 2, or are we aiming for Champions League just so we can pay off our debt? I think the key.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, the key question is there on what our true ambitions are as a football club. And just on transfers, I want to go back to transfers now, right? So Jadon Sancho, we've been courting him for the last 10 weeks, right? Dortmund have been adamant about the price for 120 million euros from day one. Right? Nothing's changed on that front. United were informed of that price. We decided to step back. We didn't tell Dortmund we're not going to buy him. We were not interested. The deals collapsed. But we stepped back. What I can't understand was that what happened from that point till now, because Jadon Sancho is still not a Man United player. I mean, are we hoping to sell some players before we were able to make the Sancho signing? Or are we hoping to see Dortmund drop the price because they'll be desperate? I mean, all clubs are losing money, right? So are Man United hoping that, we can push Dortmund's resolve till the end and force them to sell Sancho at a really cut price deal? I mean, what do you think the issue is?
I think there's a set amount of money for Sancho, right? Now let's call it, that's the bid that they've gone in with. Let's call it 90 million pounds, right? And 90 million pounds or euros, I don't know the exact currency, but let's call it 90 million for argument's sake, right? And Dortmund want 120, so the difference is 30, right? I think 90 million is all they can afford right now, right? Because beyond that, they can't do anything else. So there are 1 or 2 ways to raise the other 30 million, right? Whatever the differential is. You either sell players to get money, which is what I think is going on.
Mm.
Or you give them and ask them to structure a deal in such a way that the 30 million will pay out over a certain amount of years, which Dortmund don't want. Dortmund want cash today, right? So that's how they're trying to go backwards and forwards with the deal, I'm assuming, right? This I don't even know if you're seriously want the deal to happen as well. Let me be very clear, because that is a possibility nobody's even considering. Everybody thinks we want him. Nobody really talks about, do we really have the cash to buy him? Whether they have cash, I don't know.
Yeah.
Somebody in control is not giving the cash. So they're waiting for people to go. Now, people who should have left, they're not getting the price tag for that, for those people. Let's say Smalling needed to go. He didn't go because Roma's probably undervalued Smalling in terms of what United want, right? So things like that. So now there were talks about Daniel James leaving to fund this transfer. So all of this, I think, is to make up that differential that United don't have. Either don't have the capacity, one, or they don't really want to shell out that extra 30 million because they believe they can use the 30 million for a different player. I don't know. Could be a possibility, right? So talking about Sancho is probably wasting breath right now, right? In 3 days, we'll know. There's no need to speculate. Yeah. In 3 days, we can sit here Monday night and talk about the exact same thing, and we'll know.
We can forget about transfers for.
We can forget about transfers, right? Forget it.
6 months.
It's at least a table. Yeah, exactly. At least it's off the table.
Yeah.
Then get into more productive analysis of games and stuff like that, right? It's just, we both have done 3-4 episodes right now. Everything is addressed Sancho. Everything is addressed transfers. Can we all take a chill bloody pill and then fucking realize that it's all about football? What happens on the field on whatever, Sunday night, Monday morning for us is probably extremely important in this short time horizon. We're playing Tottenham. Tottenham have a good team. Tottenham have strengthened, right? Their side. We have a manager that we love to hate in Jose that we're going to play against. And we have a team that currently is playing its games like it's playing preseason games, right? In all of these variables, how do we put in a performance on Tottenham should be the only focus for a lot of other people, right? It's okay. We can sit and chat. Why don't we talk about this, right? If the butterfly flaps its wings, where's the next tornado? Let's fucking figure that out for a second. Or where's the next earthquake or whatever the fucking thing happens. Yeah, let's talk about that then. That's speculation too. Yeah. You can speculate all you want. In 3 days, we'll get the answer. I personally don't think we've left it. I think we've left it too late. It might not happen. The problem is, while we were waiting for this to happen, they didn't invest in other areas that are even more key than Sancho, to be quite honest. But anyway, that's moving on. But Tottenham, dude.
Man United are now running around like a headless chicken. We're looking at Dembele. We're looking at, another guy, I can't remember, someone else from Argentinian league or something like that. Like, we're just all over the place. And it just frustrates me to no end that Man United, all of this could have been avoided if we just had a direct goal. And that's really where the frustration goes to. There's no structure within the club on how we handle transfers. Okay, what? Forget about signings. What about the players we want to get rid of, right? The likes of Smalling, Pereira, Dalot,
Phil Jones.
We're struggling to sell all these players, and really, they're not really that bad of players. They're just not good enough for Man United, but they do well in other clubs. And we struggle to sell any one of these players. Like we're struggling to get them on loan. Like, what's going on with Man United?
Garry, I told you we play. Let's go back to where we started off, right? A few minutes ago. I told you we pay the Man United premium, right? So if a player is worth 30, we're buying him for 40. When we have to sell it, he's not 40 anymore because it's like a bloody car. You drive off the showroom, half price off, right? So he's now worth about 15 million, right? Yeah. So we have, because we paid the premium, a more differential in, revenues that we could have made by selling the player, right? So what we have in mind is not eventuating. That's pretty much it. And who will buy a Smalling? No. I know who's buying Smalling, but let's say who would want to invest in Dan James, right? Leeds United, right? Do those clubs have the money to pay the premium that we paid for Dan James? No, because we're selling to lower clubs. Lower clubs don't have the budget. Lower clubs will try to squeeze every penny out, And that's why we're not making money. That's why we're slow in sending people out, because we're waiting for the right price for the player. And this is where the hypocrisy starts. Because if we are not selling players at the value that we think they are, why do we expect Dortmund to sell Sancho at a price that is less than what they believe it is to? So it's all bloody fucking hypocritical, right?
Yeah, it is. Very
That's
good
why
point
we're
because we're talking about keeping Pogba right now, right? And we're worried that Real was going to come in and swoop in and take him for
yeah.
a price deal. But if if Real had, for argument's sake, had come in with a $50 million bid, do you think Manu would have even entertained that bid?
Yeah,
No way.
exactly.
There's no way.
Exactly. You know what would then have happened? Pogba would have said, "Fuck you, Man United. I'm going anyway." That's what
Yeah.
would have happened, right?
Yeah.
I don't give a shit. I'm going to force this transfer. So then what? What are we left with? We're left with a big bloody loss, right? So, and this is what I don't understand, man. If you have a etiquette about measuring business for your own club, why do you think other people will not live by the same etiquette? Now, what I mean by saying is, if you you have a prize of
If you
player,
have a
you value.
certain standard about where things need,
Correct.
things need to be, you
Yes.
have to be, it's a two-way street, right? It
Correct.
has to be
Correct.
equally applicable. Yeah. So
Yeah. So it's
look, I
again,
think, look, we,
I'm tired of this, right? So I spend bloody 45 to an hour reading through news articles linking us with so many people, and it's always been the case. It's always been the case. Nothing bloody eventuates. Some will get some eyewash transfer at the end, and we'll say, okay, you know what, we'll have to live with this. Then when nothing happens, there's automatically such a very negative on the players and the club. Imagine what's going on with Greenwood right now. Greenwood had a stellar last season. He's 19 years old. There are talks about somebody who's replacing him for the position he plays, literally, right? So he knows if Sancho comes, he's not going to start. But imagine what's going through a 19-year-old kid's mind, dude, based on all this bloody transfers and stuff like that. You can't let that.
well, based on what happened in the hotel, I think he was more interested in girls, but I could be
But
wrong.
that's okay. You know what?
His
19 years
age,
old,
right?
wouldn't you be, though? I mean, we're all 19 once, so you can understand it. The only difference is he has the money, we don't, right?
Yeah, we don't have the money, exactly.
So our only entertainment was TV. He can splurge a little bit more. That's all.
Dude,
Right?
you know what? I'm not even having alcohol tonight, Saturday night, and I'm drinking green tea.
Yeah, man.
How life has changed, huh?
Dude, life has changed for the worse for you the last since you've bloody been to F45 or what you would go to. But anyway, let's talk about the game, dude. I think we just got
Yeah,
so caught up
before we go
in
on game, I
anger
just
and
want
frustration.
last
Yep.
question.
Yes.
Do you think Man United are going to sign anyone? Yes or no?
What is today? Today is Saturday morning for them, right?
It's
Saturday
Friday.
morning in the UK.
Yeah,
It's Saturday morning in the
Saturday
UK.
morning. Sorry. Yeah, Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday morning in the UK. I think all the clubs who don't want to sell their players and the lead negotiators are all taking a long weekend off, dude. I think we're going to take a long weekend.
Are you serious?
No, I mean, like if you were Dortmund, right, and you want to keep Sancho, and you'll put in your time.
Actually, I read this report, right?
Yeah.
Apparently, Man U's chief negotiator, Matt Judge, like there was
And
some top tier director of football that was trying to contact him to get some transfers
yeah,
going. And
yeah,
apparently, he just didn't answer his phone. It was night,
yeah.
couldn't be bothered answering his phone. Look, I don't know if
It's
it's true, but it wouldn't surprise me, to be honest. Man U and the way we handle business.
absolutely, and yeah, it wouldn't surprise me, would it? I mean,
Yeah.
it's like you can't organize a piss up in a brewery, let alone.
It's up at a brewery. That's it.
That's it. That's one phase that bloody comes to mind when you talk about United and getting deals done. But think about it for a second. You have 3 days to go, right? And why couldn't Dortmund, even if everything were to go through, pull the same shit we pulled with fax machines with De Gea?
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude,
Look,
are you serious? Are we even talking about this? Nothing is going to happen. I believe nothing will happen
okay.
because
I
today
think
is Saturday.
but
Okay, well, if
I want to
please,
be super optimistic, Chai. I just want to be optimistic for once.
I
Can you
hope,
just let me.
yes. Okay, go on. I'm
I
the
just
kid
hope.
nanny,
I
so I'm
just
like,
hope. Like even this morning, the first thing I did was went into Twitter, went into Fabrizio Romano's account, checked if there's anything around Sancho. And then I read up on one of his posts about Michael Zorc, the director of football for Dortmund, basically saying that, you know what, nothing's changed. Nothing's going to change in the next 3 days unless
Yeah,
Man pay up, the 120 million euros. He's a Dortmund player.
dude. Let me ask you this, right? So you think people who've been sitting on the deal to kind of eventuate it or make progress will pull their finger out in 3 days. He's going to come in his so-called illness, pass the medical, sign the contract. Unless somebody is funding a private helicopter like they did for Mata, he's not really coming in.
Yeah, you know what?
Well, look,
He might not.
I hope I'm proved
He
wrong.
might not come, but I hope he comes. We'll just see.
I hope people prove me wrong. But yeah, I
But
mean, I'm
he'll
used
still
to.
be the only signing I think
agree.
we'll get. That's it.
Yeah, who else? We're not even close with anyone else, right?
Tell us is the other one, but yeah.
Fuck, dude. Might as well buy another goalkeeper, right? Oh yeah, we're fucking in for Kepa or someone. Yeah, might as well be because we need goalkeepers right now.
No, we don't have enough goalkeepers though. We
Yeah,
need
exactly right.
5.
Fuck. That's what we're talking about. We fill the bloody whole team with the bloody goalkeepers, right?
Yeah, we've got enough to fill the full outfield team. But anyway, yeah, that's transfers. So yeah, interesting. So we just have to see what happens in the next 3 days. But what we really need to talk about today is Man U Tottenham.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts? How do you think we're going to the game? Like, it's getting to a point where, Ole's presser was really nervy, not really comfortable. And I think, if I was a Man U player and I was looking at the presser, I'll be, we need signings. Luke Shaw came out and he said that, we need signings. So is he
Luke
setting
Shaw should
the sentiment as the rest of
fucking stop talking to the press and bloody cross some nice balls in on bloody Sunday night. That's all he needs to do.
Yeah, what are your thoughts? What do you think? I think Harry Kane's on fire right now. He's scoring goals left, right, and center.
Dude, it worries me, right? It worries me for two reasons. First of all, Jose, he'll have that little extra enthusiasm to beat Manchester United. Secondly, they've strengthened obviously, so they'll field in some good talent. Now, whether they actually play Bale, I don't know, but I think they'll put out a strong team, right? Now, we beat Tottenham. Did we beat them both times last season?
We drew against them after lockdown, 1-1.
That's correct. So yeah, but we beat them the first leg with a Rashford goal, I think.
Yeah. Really good goal.
So yeah, good goal. So here's my thoughts on how I see it play, right? This Tottenham game has, at least what's surrounding the club and the negativity and the animosities for the Glazers, it resembles when Jose played Tottenham and we got beat 3-1 2 seasons ago. Right? Externally, that's the kind of atmosphere that is set out for this game. Right? Jose was angry that he didn't sign enough players, and there was the whole negativity trickled down to the club. I have a feeling this is no different. This is exactly like the same setup anyway. And we played Tottenham in the first few fixtures even then. Now, that's exactly what's happening even now, right? Because it was the first few fixtures of that season. There's the first few fixtures of this season. Jose is ramped up. He's ramped up his squad. For some reason, Tottenham have been giving him the money and and are feeding into his requests with regards to the players. So I think they have a little bit more quality in certain areas, right? So let's break it down. So I think their forward line with Kane is probably.
I think Son is out though, right? Son's injured.
Son is out. Yeah. Son's injured. He might not play, but he might come in later in the game, I guess. But I think we're equal when it comes to the forward. I think the forward line, possibly with the speed and this thing, where guile we have going forward, I think we could possibly edge them out in that space. What concerns me is midfield, depending on who we play.
You don't think our midfield is better than theirs?
It depends on who we play. Now, if you play Scott McTominay because Matic can't play the whole game, or if you bring in Fred, now that's my worry. depending on who plays in the
Actually,
midfield.
what's your prediction on the lineup? Actually, I should have asked you this. What's your prediction to
I
start?
think it'll be very similar to the Crystal Palace game that we played the last time around.
Yeah.
So I think
So
De Gea and goal.
basically,
We can talk about the lineups in a bit, but we can go through that in a little more detail. But I think their defense will probably be more stronger, I guess, in the grand scheme of things. So I'm they'll I'm going with the 2-1 for Tottenham, right? That's the mentality. That's the scoreline that I think will eventuate finally. What about you? What do you think?
look again. The build up to this game is very, very negative. I think, like
Yeah.
we clearly, like, number one, we don't have the fitness. We are behind in preseason. We are treating our actual league games as preseason right now.
Yeah.
I think our players are just lacking that much match sharpness.
Yes.
Secondly, I think that with all there's so much negativity around the club, social media, and things like that, and I don't care how much mental strength you have. Some of that's going to seep into the team, the psychology of the team. I think it's going to affect the psychology of the team, and I just think that Ole's presser yesterday was also very, very cagey. Like he just seemed not confident about the team. Like he just said, basically indicated that he's happy to play with the players he has, but given a chance, he'd like to sign more players. At least that's what I read out of the whole thing. I just have a feeling that we are going to lose the game, and I think it's going to be 1-0 to Tottenham. I think
1-0 to Tottenham. Okay.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a tight game, but it's going to be a defensive error, and I think we're gonna concede a
I
very
think we might concede.
silly goal, and we're gonna lose it.
Yeah, possibly. I think that's why I said so. We minus the negativity, I would have been okay. But I mean, minus the negativity, minus all the speculation surrounding the club and stuff like that. I think we would have come off with a draw or possibly a win. But right now, I think it's just, or if it was different part of the season, right? If it wasn't the start of the season and we were just getting up the match sharpness as you brought up, I would have probably predicted a different result. All things considered, I think it might be a narrow win for Tottenham. I think, to be quite honest.
Yeah,
I have the thing.
I think we are. I don't think we're gonna win. Best case, draw. That's it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So anyway, let's talk about the lineup. So
lineup. Yeah, go. Let me know. What do you think? Who starts?
I think De Gea will start in goal. What do you think? Do you think Henderson?
I think will start. No, I don't think Henderson will start. I think Henderson.
I don't think Henderson.
Cup keeper.
Yeah.
Cup, League Cup.
Yeah. For now, I think. Yeah. I think on the right, Wan-Bissaka will start if he's fit. Yeah. I think most likely he will field in that position. Yeah. Center defense, I think I want Bale to start with Maguire if Maguire is fit, or Bale must start, right? Bale will probably be one of the two defenders. The other one, depending on how fit Maguire is, Maguire should start. Or else we have no one but to go with. Lindelof. What do you think?
Look, Ole is known to do strange things. I think despite the game that Bailly had over the the League Cup, I think he's still persist with Lindelof for whatever reason. Maguire is fit apparently, so it's going to be Maguire and Lindelof for me.
Oh no!
Whether I agree with it, I don't know. It's Ole's so, and I think left back is going to be Luke Shaw.
I think so. Yeah. There's no chance of Brandon Williams playing. No, Brandon Williams, I don't think he'll play. I think Luke Shaw will play. I agree with you. Ole is known to do strange things, but I think if anything is to go by, because the number of people calling for Lindelof's head, he might come into his senses and might field in Bailly, but I don't know. Midfield, dude, this is the biggest question I have for you. Who hell would you put in the midfield?
Very good question, actually. I think he's going to go with Matic as a holding midfielder, and Bruno and Pogba. I think
do you want him to go with that midfield, or do you think he will go with that midfield?
I actually think like I said in my in my I think the first in the first podcast that we did, I think
Yep.
Van de Beek is a very, very good number 10. I
Yep.
think Bruno should maybe be held in number 8 position to kind of support
Yeah.
Van de Beek. I think Matic
Mm.
needs to start. I think Matic is the most important person in midfield. He kind of
Yeah.
confidence to
Breaks
rest
players open, right? Yeah.
on things as well. I
Yeah.
think Pogba should start on the bench. He's still not fit. That's the
Exactly.
midfield that I would
Mm.
go with. But
So
again,
you'd go with Bruno, Van de Beek. You want to go with, if
yeah,
you were, you'd
yeah,
go with
that,
Van de Beek and
yeah. Van de Beek is
Matic.
is like I said, man. His movement is
Mm.
really top class. Like I
Yeah.
think he'll link up really well with Martial up forward.
Yeah.
Both of them will develop a really good understanding because you have two
Sure.
intelligent players playing together. I think they'll be
Yeah.
able to feed off each other and create something special.
Absolutely. I agree with you. I think Pogba should come in and make an appearance like he did for the Tottenham game previously,
Yeah.
right? The after lockdown, he came in only after 60 minutes and stuff like that, and then he put in a performance, right? And he did the same thing with Crystal Palace as well. I think not Crystal Palace, sorry, Brighton recently in the cup game. He came in after a while. So I believe the midfield should be Matic, 100%. The other two, depending on Ole's, I guess, discretion, I think he'll still feed in Pogba and Bruno. I think he'll go with them, but I would rather have Van de Beek and Bruno.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Like
So that's three. That's yeah. I think so. I mean, we don't have any options going forward, right? So obviously, those the three. I
I
mean,
just pray
that's like the.
I just pray that one of them doesn't get injured. But who was your forward lineup?
There's no. We
Huh?
don't have to be creative. We don't have to be creative there, right?
I don't know. Like,
I think it'll just be Rashford, Marshall, and Greenwood, right?
okay.
Yeah, I don't see that changing.
Hmm.
I think he'll just go with that. It's safe, it's tested, it's proven, and it's the best we got. So, I mean, I don't think he's going to change that.
Okay.
What are you going to play? Igalo, Lingard, and Mata instead?
No, I go for okay. Left wing, I'll go for Rashford, obviously.
Yeah.
Left forward. Up front, I've got Martial. Martial's our only number 9. On the right wing, I'm going to get a bit creative, and I'm going to say Sancho.
How can he play? Unless something happened in the last 2 minutes.
Dude, I'm so optimistic we're going to sign him. I think.
What? Dude,
Sancho's
it needs
on a plane. He's on a plane. He's coming. He's coming now. Everything's done. Everything's done behind doors. Signed everything. It's all done.
Yeah, so he's actually in Manchester.
Yeah, Sancho.
Sancho, piano or a cello to play.
JS7. JS7.
Oh, fucking hell. Dude.
And his jersey, back of his jersey, not Sancho 7. It's JS7, man. That's what's going to be written on the back of his jersey. But yeah, look, okay. I don't think
it was quite sad what he just said.
It's going to be Greenwood. It's going to be Greenwood.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm just disappointed.
It should have been Sancho. I give you that.
Yeah,
it should have.
Not going to happen.
But it's not going to happen right now. So yeah.
Tell you what, this next 2-3 nights, I'm going to have. I'm going to be like on the phone the whole time. Just like have my notifications up. Just like Sancho.
Yeah.
And then I'll call you up at about 3 o'clock in the morning. Say we've got to do a video now.
Yeah. Fair enough. No, you know what? If it happens, it's worth doing a video at 3 o'clock in the morning. If it doesn't happen, I'm going to give you a lot of shit though.
Yeah. No, what? I'm going to give you shit. You're like Sancho.
Why?
Not going to happen.
It won't happen. Yeah, exactly. If it happens, then good. You can give me shit. If it doesn't happen, you have something coming your way.
Yeah.
It'll be packed in a environmentally sustainable container as well. But yeah. So, who do you think are people you need to look out for
Tottenham? Look, Kane, obviously.
Dangerous person. Yeah.
Kane is obviously their number 1 threat. I'm a bit worried about Bergwijn as well. Bergwijn's like I think he's a pretty good player. And obviously, if Gale if Gale starts, he's going to be another threat as well. Like I mean, I would say their front three is probably on par, if not better than our front three. Like high profile.
Yeah, look, I think if you put Kane in there, he's going to edge anybody else.
Kane is a really good player.
I think he's the the beauty of Kane is he's a good he has a good shot, right? He's a fantastic shot. But what I think people overlook is his link up play, right? So I
Mm.
think he just holds the ball and just links the other people around
He's
him.
a
And if
he's
you
a
like,
classic target man, right? He's so good with link up play. He can hold the ball up well. He's really good
and
at
then turn and shoot as well, right?
hitting.
He
Yeah,
got
like I mean, he's like the perfect number 9. He's like a Van Nistelrooy, right?
correct.
Yeah, like yeah. So I just worry about our defense because
Yeah.
if you have Lindelof there, he's not going to have the height
Mm,
to challenge for headers. Maguire's got
yeah.
to be on the ball with
Hmm.
Kane. He's got to mark him
Yeah.
out. But I'm just worried about the front three. I think
The
midfield we've
front
got it
three.
covered. I think if we control the midfield, we've got a good
Yeah.
chance of getting something out of the game. But
Yeah.
again, yeah,
And
depends on who we
Jose
start.
will Jose will expect a counter-attacking style.
Jose
He
is
will
going
expect
to
it.
mind fuck his team to
Yeah.
get the result against us.
Yeah.
Knowing Jose, he holds grudges really, really well, and
Deeply.
he's got a
Mm,
massive grudge against United. Like he just wants
yeah.
us, and I think it's going to be an interesting game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. Look,
We'll be looking forward to it actually.
I,
So we'll
I I
see.
hope we get a draw or we get a win, but I think it's going to be 1-0.
Yeah. Are you gonna watch the game?
I will. It's you know what? I've got a public holiday, so
Yeah.
watch it.
Fair enough.
It's
It's at what? It's at 3
maybe at 2
a.m.
o'clock
in the
in the morning.
morning. Yeah.
Fine.
2 in the morning. No, it's 3 in the
Three.
morning. Daylight saving goes up today.
Oh, does it? Yeah,
Yeah, so
it's
it's 3
only
in the
3 in the
morning.
morning. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll get up to watch it. I won't stay up then. Oh well.
Yeah. Fair enough. Anyways, good talking
Yeah.
to you as usual.
Yeah. Look, guys.
And
Hope you enjoyed
final
the
predictions.
show. Hope everyone enjoyed the show tonight. If there's any comments or any improvements you think to what we're doing today, just feel free to put your comments in there. We just want you to, really appreciate the channel and really have fun with the channel and give your ideas there. And also, don't forget to hit a like on the video. We really appreciate that. I think, before we sign off, Chai, thank you again. Pleasure as always having you on the show. Look
Yes, sir.
to our next Chai Time with Garry show.
With yeah, buddy. I'll speak to you on Monday night, I guess, huh?
Yeah, we're going to do the match review.
Reflecting on and the close of the transfer deadline
Yeah,
as well. Huh?
it's going to be a
Yeah,
nightmare, but we'll do it.
I know, but
All right.
hopefully there's something fruitful at the end of it. See you guys. Thank you.
Cheers, mate. See ya.
Bye.